All right. All right. Hey guys, I just realized that I can't get on camera because my dog totally chewed up my webcam, like totally freaking destroyed it. So no Quinn face. No Quinn
because my
face.
dog.
And also shut up. I don't need you to say it double computer version of me. All right. So I'm just gonna wait for you guys to stream into here into this impromptu stream. And we're going to talk a little bit about some things that have happened recently, some things that have been announced, and like the internet's reaction to it. And like people are just going crazy. People are always going crazy. But let me know that you guys can hear me well. Just put in the comments. There's always a little bit of lag at first. So let me know if you guys can hear me and clearly. And then we're just going to talk some Dune things. But first, let me just pay no attention to the sounds in the background. It's just a little bit of a morning routine happening. Just boiling the tea. I usually don't get up this early, and it's pretty late in the morning actually, so that sounds pretty crazy. But I'm a night owl. I stay up at night and I get up late in the day usually. But last night I worked on my video, just a little Dune news update about the future of Dune and Dune 2 and the character Chani and her role in Dune 2. And I made a little video and I thought, oh, this good news, right? I'm going to put up this little video because it was just from an article of Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve saying that Chani would essentially be the main character in Dune 2. And that was the video that I just put up. If you haven't seen it, you can go check that out. But what I want to talk about is the internet's reaction to this because it's kind of annoying and upsetting, and it's indicative that people don't really have that much knowledge of the Dune universe and what's actually in the books. So yeah, we just need to discuss that a little bit, I felt like. So in the interview that Denis Villeneuve gave, he's basically going on and he's saying that the female characters in Dune are really the important characters. And he says, I think what really made a lot of people upset is Villeneuve saying that the female characters in Dune are stronger than the male characters. But like, guys, they are. They are. None of this is indicative of Denis Villeneuve having a bad understanding of the book. Let me ask you this. Why isn't Jessica killed by the Fremen? Why isn't the Lady Jessica killed by the Fremen in the first book? She's not killed because she has the weirding way. She's not killed because she almost kills Stilgar herself. And they recognize, oh, wait, this is a bad bitch. I don't think any one of those Fremen could have taken out Jessica. Stilgar couldn't even take out Jessica, and he was the leader. So, and besides that, what is the most powerful fighting force, most powerful military force in the entire Dune universe? What is the most powerful military force that ever existed in the Dune universe? Without a doubt, the fish speakers. Without a doubt, the fish speakers of Leto II's empire, an all-female army, which Leto explicitly states that he made it an all-female army because he just did not want men in a military force. Period. That is in the book. That is in God Emperor of Dune. He said that during times of wartime, men in militaries just don't know what to do, and females just keep the peace better, and they were also better fighters. That's just in the books. That's just in the books. And then you could maybe argue that the Honored Matres are a stronger military force. The Honored Matres are some of the greatest fighters that ever existed. They're even better fighters than the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, and they're all women. This whole entire book series has been about the machinations of female organizations and female powers in the universe. So Denis Villeneuve is absolutely right when he says the book is framed by femininity. And I have no idea what anyone is talking about by saying anything otherwise. Please explain it to me because I'm getting a lot of comments on my new video, people saying, oh, Denis Villeneuve should reread the book and Dune is about Paul. Well, short answer is no. The short answer is no. And everything that I've heard Denis Villeneuve say about this movie indicates that he obviously knows. What was the goal of Leto's golden path? In a female vessel, He created the savior of humanity, Siona Atreides. His entire breeding program led up to Siona Atreides. And it's not like he guides her and she just does she just does what he says. No, Siona, although like ultimately Leto was over her destiny, ultimately Siona, like, she is the one that conquered the Emperor. So, and then just to top it off, those last two books, the last two books in the Dune series, which were meant to be part of the next Dune trilogy, most of the main characters are female. Most of the main characters are female. So I just don't understand this reaction from people that have supposedly read the Dune series, that are supposedly into the Dune books, freaking out about Denis Villeneuve saying that Chani is going to be the main character in Dune 2. And besides, okay, so let's think. Dune 2. Dune 2 is going to be the second half of the first Dune book. So in the first half of Dune, you've got House Atreides on Arrakis, coming to Arrakis, getting set up, and then the betrayal. Then Paul and Jessica are in the desert, and then they encounter the Fremen. Paul has this romance that unfolds with Chani, and Chani is no slouch. Like, Chani is a bad bit. Like one thing is another funny comment that I was getting on the video is like, oh, they're making Zendaya is gonna be a Mary Sue. Zendaya? Chani's a Mary Sue? Chani grew up in harsher conditions than Paul ever could have dreamed of. Chani is a desert motherfucker. Chani was born, bred, and raised in the desert. Mary Sue? Are you kidding me? Chani is slitting throats from the beginning. Are you kidding me? And anybody also that, if I know everyone's seen the trailer now, the trailer starts off with the voiceover from the character Chani, which was obviously intentional because Arrakis is the place of the Fremen. So the book is the movie is opening with the Fremen, and so it absolutely makes sense. Like, Chani is Denis Villeneuve saying that Chani is going to be the protagonist of the movie too isn't jarring at all. I've seen the first 10 minutes of the movie. The first time you see Arrakis, you see Chani. Like, she is Arrakis. This beautiful, flowing, youthful woman is in near every shot of Arrakis in the beginning of that book. So it's like she is, in a way, she kind of represents the planet itself. And she does a fantastic job. Just does a fantastic job. So I just really am struggling to understand some of you guys. I really am. Like, what is the contention here about Chani having a more magnified role in Dune 2? From any of you guys that were complaining, telling me that I didn't understand the material, telling me that Denis Villeneuve didn't understand the material, when, like, I've yet to see a person in public in Hollywood that actually understands Dune. I've read a lot of articles and listened to a lot of things from people that claim to be into the Dune series, talk about Denis Villeneuve's movie, but I've never seen anyone talk about it like he does, with such an intimate understanding of the material and such a love for the material. So it's honestly really annoying and sad to me that people that probably haven't even read the Dune series, people that probably don't even really care about the Dune series, are spouting off at the mouth and trying to destroy something that will absolutely be a good representation of the source material and will absolutely be an incredible story. Like, because, like, I've got people in the chat being like, "Oh, Dune is about Paul's defeat." Like, someone literally said to me, it was so funny. Dune, they said Dune is about Paul and his defeat of the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. Oh, oh, is that what Dune's about? I didn't realize. I thought Dune was this, like, multi-millennia spanning epic saga about the relationship between the oppressed and the oppressors, and about the evolution of humanity over the course of hundreds of years and thousands of years. I thought it was about all of these things. I thought it was about the machinations of the Bene Gesserit sisterhood, who've been in operation for many generations and manipulating bloodlines to their own goals. I thought it was about those things. I didn't realize that the Bene Gesserit got defeated in book 1, and that I totally misinterpreted the entire Dune series. I'm so sorry. I totally didn't realize that for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been totally reading this entire series wrong, and I should have known that the Bene Gesserit got defeated in the first book, even though the last two books are entirely about the Bene Gesserit, and Paul Atreides is barely mentioned, but whatever. You know what the problem is? Anytime, I'm just going to say it, anytime someone sees a woman character as the lead of something, they immediately scream woke. And it's exacerbated tenfold if the character is black, if it's a black woman. It is racism and sexism. Because I don't know what you guys want me to say at this point. If you're acting like you've read the book and then this is what you're complaining about, I don't get the reasoning, because none of these people ever offer solid explanations to what exactly it is that's making them say these things. What exactly is it about seeing Zendaya's face and hearing Villeneuve say that she will be a protagonist of the second Dune movie? What about that makes you scream Mary Sue? What about that makes you scream woke? Is it mere it there isn't another answer. I have yet to see another answer other than sexism and racism. Until you can provide one, I don't know what to tell you. Until you can provide a better explanation, I don't know what to tell you, because this is part of the book. This is a part of the themes of the book. It's been a part of the themes from the book since Frank Herbert wrote it decades ago. Decades ago. So I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. Like, all of these accusations about Denis Villeneuve get thrown around because of his depiction. So this isn't it, because a reason I sound kind of like annoyed is because this has been going on at every step of this movie. Anytime, like, people have been pissed about, like, this isn't new. People were pissed about the portrayal of the Fremen from the beginning. As soon as people with color on their skin started being cast as the Fremen, people were screaming woke at Villeneuve. People were screaming SJW at Villeneuve for depicting desert people as not pale white as David Lynch did. Why would people that live in the desert be pale white people in like leather suits in David Lynch's Dune? What desert dwelling people on the in anywhere in the planet look like that? And anywhere on the planet look like that? I mean, to suggest that Chani is somehow a Mary Sue when she's protecting Paul and saving Paul. She's literally born and bred in the desert. Fremen children literally go around and slit the throats of their enemies on the battlefield. Like, it's not an easy life in the desert. She is trained by the desert. The Fremen are the greatest fighters in the world. The Fremen are the greatest fighters in the galaxy because they've been trained by the world Arrakis itself, by the harsh planet itself. So it seems to me that what Villeneuve really cares about is consistency and making his world real, and actually making the Fremen culture into a real thing and not just having them be a backdrop and a side piece like Lynch did. A complete side piece like Lynch did. So, yeah. So Umar says Lady Jessica is a Mary Sue. Okay. I mean, because I really, really, really thought that she was bred and trained by the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. And I really, really thought that they spent a lot of time like establishing like how she trained Paul. And I really, really thought as the books continue, like she goes on to train other people and like it's established like how their powers work. And I really, really, really thought that Jessica did a lot to show that she was like a fucking badass over the course of like the first Dune book and over the course of Children of Dune. So, but Mary Sue, I guess that's another thing that I completely didn't understand about Dune, I guess. Like, I thought Jessica was like Guys Helen Ohio's best student and like was really good with the weirding way and was really good with the voice. I'm sorry I'm missing some of you guys' super chats. Thank you so much. I think I saw like a few other ones that popped up before. Alexander Fleener says, just want to say a big thank you for all your hard work in the Dune videos. I just started reading the series in chronological order. And now on God Emperor and Children of Dune. Well, that's great. It gets crazy after Children and God Emperor. Hey man, I just appreciate the Dune focused content and discussions and great ones at that. Okay, so like Thank you guys so much for your super chats. Anyway, so getting back to like the future of the Dune saga and all this, Denis Villeneuve talking about framing the story in femininity. I always thought like, okay, the decision to make the Bene Gesserit sisterhood was a great decision because like you could easily just be like, oh, let's do the Butlerian jihad, let's do like Terminator action movie. But I think Denis Villeneuve probably had a lot to say in like what show they decided to adapt, and it makes way more sense for Dune to focus on the Bene Gesserit because, like Villeneuve said, the story is about women. It's framed in women. Like the Bene Gesserit are key in the story. Like to just do like an action series or something would be ridiculous. You know what? Let me tell you, because I'm sick of action series. I'm sick to death of action series. Right? So like, okay, what was that new one? Captain Marvel Winter Soldier. I forget what it is. That Marvel thing. That was like just like it was like a long boring, drawn out action movie that I didn't care about. But then WandaVision, which was a story with a lot more heart and a very, very, very feminine story, was much more interesting and much more compelling because it was about something different than blowing everything up every 10 seconds. You know what I mean? So, like, I would much rather see a show about the machinations of these, like, powerful, incredible, intelligent women than, like, something where a bunch of stuff is getting blown up all the time. All right. So, all of these people that have so much to say about the direction that Denis Villeneuve is taking this franchise would ruin this franchise if they were given the chance. It would absolutely ruin it. Let me tell you this: I haven't put up my reviews for Star Wars yet. The last two Star Wars movies, I did all of the other ones, and I got to Force Awakens, and I got I got to Force Awakens, and I haven't done Last Jedi, and I haven't done The Rise of Skywalker. But I've seen both of those movies, and let me tell you this: as far as I'm gonna fuck you guys up. As far as Last Jedi goes, as a non-Star Wars fan, just watching that movie, it's fucking fine. Last Jedi, whatever. It's Star Wars. Pretty freaking good. I don't care. Rise of Skywalker is bad because all of the complaints against Last Jedi. Like everyone, all of you, they all complained so hard about Last Jedi, which was a normal movie. It was pretty. It wasn't great. It was fine, but everyone's too busy complaining about like Laura Dern and her purple hair and how they're so mad that a woman is in charge of a man that you get this dumpster fire of Rise of Skywalker, which is honestly one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Right? One of the worst movies ever. And that's because people complained about all the wrong things with Last Jedi. What you should have been complaining about was like, I don't know, like the massive plot holes instead of I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my little take. Like they ruin people ruin franchises like this, I feel like, by complaining about stuff just because, oh, this is woke, this is sexist, when that's not even the problem. That's not even the problem. Complaining, oh, God, anyway. Shout out from DC. Someone says thanks. But like that's coming from me, like as not a Star Wars fan, like as not a Star Wars fan at all. Right. I'm just saying that it's like The Last Jedi was pretty decent, and you could have had a good franchise if you just had like lit your own franchise on fire. The Last Jedi was pretty freaking good. Rise of Skywalker was straight trash. Straight trash. Anyway. And I saw so many complaints about Laura Dern's character. Like, who cares? Like, that character didn't do anything wrong. Laura Dern's character didn't do anything wrong. But like, if we're gonna have a discussion about it, she was in charge. Like, I come from a Star Trek perspective. I love Star Trek, and so like in Star Wars, in that movie, I admit I was like confused as like how Poe Dameron wasn't like thrown in the brig for the entire movie. Because in Star Trek, if someone disobeys the chain of command, regardless of whether it's a woman, that's like a crazy offense. And they're not just going to like be like, oh, you're now the leader of things now because you disobeyed. Like, what? There were no repercussions for anything that for Poe did in Last Jedi. Like a bunch of people died because of him. Like he tried to mutiny the ship from Laura Dern. And then like you look at the internet and all these troll boys are acting like Laura Dern did something bad and that he wasn't the one that was in the wrong and acting like she should have just shut up. But I'm like, no, you should have been complaining about him, but you're complaining about her because she's a woman and she's got purple hair. I mean, maybe you don't like the character, but what does she do wrong? What did she do wrong? Like if you're in command of a spaceship, you don't have to go around telling everybody your plan, especially not Poe, who can't even listen to Princess Leia, one of the most respected leaders in your whole thing. Your whole thing. Like Star Wars fans go on and on about how like they respect like the classic shit. Well, Princess Leia has been leading shit from the fucking beginning, and I pointed that out in my Empire Strikes Back video. Poe couldn't even listen to her. He disobeyed her. So why is Laura Dern's character going to come in and then give him special privileges? Why? Why? What did she do wrong? Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I feel like it's the same dilemma with Dune. For some reason, a lot of you guys have such a hard time with someone saying something as simple as these female characters are smarter than the male characters. The female characters are stronger than the male characters in Dune. When it's 100% true, when it's 100% supported by text. It just is. Like, if you don't like that, then maybe you shouldn't be reading the Dune series. If you don't like that, then maybe the Dune saga is not for you, because that is literally what it's about. And I'm sorry you haven't read it, and I'm sorry you think it's about something else. I'm sorry you think it's about Paul, your action hero, but it's not. And that text is right there in the book, and you can dislike this stream, you little crybabies. You can keep disliking the stream. You can keep disliking the video. You can keep complaining about SJW this and SJW that and tears wah 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 about a book series that you haven't even fucking read. You fucking posers. Like, you're literally a poser. You're literally like, to me, you're like the lowest of the low in the nerd community, because you come in here pretending like you've read these books. You come in here pretending like you're an actual part of these communities and you enjoy these stories, but you're fucking fake. You don't know anything about these books. And all you want to do is sit here and cry about how you're not being represented anymore. You're crying about how they're giving a female character a bigger role. You're crying about how there's black people in the desert. Oh my God, you poor, poor fucking babies. You poor, poor little children who can't read. You poor, sad children whose mama didn't read to them at night. It's so fucking sad. And, like, yeah, I'm mad about this because this has been going on forever. You guys have been trying to destroy Dune, this movie, since before it even got announced, man. Like, I don't even know if it's just like this blind like nostalgia for David Lynch's like barely watchable Dune movie, which I would like David Lynch's Dune movie for what it is. I don't know if it's just like nostalgia for that movie, which David Lynch himself has disowned and hates and can't even look at. That's making people like try and diss on this, but like, I don't know, whatever. But it's in the text. It's in the text, and that's just period. I'm getting too aggressive after like people have been calling. Have you been reading the comments on my new video? I am merely returning what has been given. And like I like every day, like I'm reading comments of people like screaming woke at Denis Villeneuve when they don't even get the story, when they don't even have a respect for science. They don't even have a respect for science fiction as a basic genre. Like, you people have no respect for this genre and what these authors have been doing for years, as far as like broadening the human mind and broadening the ways in which humans think. You guys have no respect for that. It's all about like this game for a lot of you. It really is about like this like political social game, rather than like good stories, good meaningful stories. And that's the thing. I'm not gonna like I think here's the thing. People expect me like just to come on here and be like, neutral lore guy, Dune, I'm so neutral. Here's the lore. Actually, stories have meaning and stories have politics. So I'm not just going to come up here and give you lore and not actually explain what it means. And if you're not ready to hear what some of these ideas mean, what some of these things represent and what the themes actually are, then this is not the right place. This is not the right place. Like, science fiction has always been woke. And I will say that until the end of time. I will say it until the end of time, guys. The original Dune book was woke. The original franchise, as it continues, gets woker and woker and woker. Like, so you should abandon ship like right now if you're not ready for it. Like, all right, so if you're just joining me, I'm just basically responding to like the ridiculous reaction to Denis Villeneuve saying that Chani will be like the protagonist of Dune 2, which will be the second half of the Dune novel. So like I was saying earlier, Dune 2 is going to take place in the desert. It's going to take place inside of the Fremen realm, and Paul himself becomes less and less human as the book goes on. So it's like this is something. The nature of Paul would be something that we view through the lens of Jessica and Chani, and it just makes too much sense. It just makes too much sense for anyone that's been following everything that we've seen and anyone that's intimately familiar with this work. And it all flows. It all flows. Now, I'm willing to take some criticism if anyone has any like legitimate criticism, because like I put out the video and people are saying, oh, you're not going to criticize you're not going to criticize this. Like, what is there to criticize when it's totally consistent with already in the text? I'm not going to needlessly criticize something when it's totally already in line with what's in the text, right, guys? Like an adaptation of something doesn't have to be doop dot for dot exactly the same. An adaptation should respect the source material. It shouldn't go against what's established in the source material. Yeah, Swagger Dagger, the sandworms are Mary Sue. The sandworms are Mary Sue. Yeah, like how are they so strong? Okay. Yeah, okay, so yeah. Dragon Demand has a good point. He says, I'd criticize if I saw the movie and felt it was heavy-handed compared to the source material. But so far, it is in line with the text, and I have no reason to suspect that. Yeah, and here's the thing. With Denis Villeneuve, too, I have no idea where these accusations of Villeneuve wokeness are coming from. Like, Villeneuve has never been, like, someone that's associated with, like, wokeness. Villeneuve has, like, universally been associated with, like, he's just a good director. He's a thoughtful, very good director. He's never so like all of this woke stuff is coming merely out of the fact that he cast black Fremen and that Leia Kynes isn't a man, and it's boiling over the head just by this little statement of him talking about Chani. So I don't know. To me, it's just frustrating, and I don't mean to get too aggressive with you guys. I don't mean to get like too upset, but it is frustrating because I come here trying to explain the Dune series and other book series as well, and just trying to present like what's actually in the text and tell you what it means. And it's like I just feel like there's a lot of very dishonest actors in a lot of our nerd spaces and a lot of our communities. That's very, very toxic. And a lot of times it's people that aren't even really that intimately familiar with the source material that like I love. Um, and it's really, 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 really annoying. Okay, yeah. So it's not the director stated lots of woke stuff well before this. You thinking people don't know what they're saying and reading their minds is bigotry. It's fine. I'm giving you an opportunity to express it. I am giving you an opportunity to tell me exactly what it is. Like, I don't understand what it is about like leave a comment on a YouTube video that people don't understand. You can like none of my comments get deleted. None of my YouTube comment section have like is blocked. Like, you can say anything. You can tell me anything you want. Say it. You're not saying it is the problem. It's like, okay, people got so mad. Oh, let me talk about this. People have made videos about me, guys, about like how I'm just like the worst wokeness and how like I stopped watching Quinn's ideas when he went woke. People get really mad about Trolleon, my like little orb character. Trolleon, I'm Trolleon. Because they say like, oh, I'm strawmanning them. I'm strawmanning you guys. But how he's just literally reading your comments. He's reading the comments that you guys say where you never elaborate on anything beyond saying that it's woke. How am I supposed to argue against the actual argument if you aren't presenting it? You're making the argument, and then I'm arguing against the argument, and then you're saying that I'm straw manning you. Oh, okay, great, cool. Please elaborate. Like I've started like commenting back to some of these comments and just saying, please elaborate. Please elaborate. Paul's Chris knife is a Mary Sue. Right? That's basically the level of this. Paul's Chris knife is a Mary Sue. Don't argue, they just want attention. Well, you know, like I'm here to argue right now. That's like the deal with this early stream. That's the deal. You think younger generations will watch the new Dune and like it? I think they will. I think they will. Someone says, "Don't worry about the trolls. They are hiding behind anonymity for a reason." I gotta get some. I've got to get some moderators in my chat. I always say this, but I need more moderators in my chat. So if there's anybody that's like been here a while, and I catch on to you coming a lot, being in my chat, I gotta. Dragon Demands, are you a moderator? Did I make you a moderator? I can't see my moderators. Let me just go over here and see if Dragon Demands, you are now a moderator, buddy. Just take care if anybody like it's going crazy in my chat over here. We don't want any of that. Okay. Back to my I swear to God, whenever I'm streaming, I always have such a difficult time operating the windows on my computer. I'm like, okay. Okay. Yeah, no pressure, Dragon Demands. No pressure. Just, I need some people on here that are like taking out the crazies. Don't forget your tea. Don't forget your tea. All right. Someone says, is Tadia going to be released in Europe? Of course. Tadia is being lettered right now. It's really exciting. The process is like, we're in the thick of the process, rushing to get it done. Don't even like talking about it because it makes me nervous, but we're rushing to get it done so we can get it out. And yeah, Tadia is, of course, my graphic novel. By the way, follow me on Twitter if you haven't now. Lots of crazy stuff happens on Twitter. So people are asking who will play the Emperor. We don't even know. In the bits of Dune that I've seen, like, because I've seen like certain preview bits and stuff, we don't see the Emperor. We see like a guy that's like an envoy for the Emperor, but we don't see the Emperor himself ever. Love the original Dune. Someone says, love the original Dune books, but don't you think that spice was too much of a have it all creation? It does too much. Well, I think that spice is also limited in a lot of very significant ways, like spice melange. You become addicted to it and you can't stop taking it. If you stop taking it, then you suffer spice withdrawals, which is a very painful death, actually. So it's limited in some ways. Like, it's not too much of a like do everything. It works in the same way essentially for everyone. Because I think a lot of people have this idea that the guild navigators use spice to as fuel, which isn't actually the case. Spice is used, it allows them to have prescience so that they can see the obstacles in space, and the actual ships are driven by the Holtzman drive, which folds space on its own, right? So you could fold space on your own without a navigator. It'd just be super perilous, and you might like just end up like warping into a planet or something. Thanks everyone for their super chats. I'm sorry I've missed some of them. Christopher Cotton, thank you. Stick Man Grit, thank you. Thank you so much for your super chats. Let's see what else we got to say here. But yeah, like I was saying before, I'm confident in Villeneuve as a director, and I'm confident in him as the person that's for right now overseeing the Dune universe. I don't think he's like crazy well, because I've seen like, like, it's not like I go into a movie and I see something that's like obviously like crazy like pandering, and I'm just like, oh, this is great. I also hate pandering things. Like, I really really do not like pandering things. So when I see that stuff, it's annoying to me as well, but I just don't see this as something that's pandering to anybody. I see very much the way the story is being presented. It's a story about humanity and human struggles. And that's exactly what the book is. It's a human story about human struggles. Like, I don't know what you guys that like throw these accusations at Denis Villeneuve want exactly. What would have made you happy? Would it have made you happy if you had seen the trailer and all the Fremen were pale, like in David Lynch's Dune? So I don't. So I'm just wondering. Someone says, bro, are you going to talk about the Fremen battle suit? Because that thing sucks. The Fremen, are you talking about the Fade Akeem suits that they show very briefly at the end of the trailer? I don't really know enough about it to talk about it because I haven't seen anything about it. Am I having an audio issue? Is my audio working properly, guys? Someone said there was an audio issue. Someone said that. And the reason I say that, would you be happy if everyone was pale, is because you got to understand that I'm coming from the perspective of someone that's like been on YouTube making videos. I was the first person to make videos about the Dune movie coming out as it was coming out. So you got to understand that I've been here since the beginning. I've seen the comments since the beginning. So you can't hide anything from me. I've been watching over it since the beginning, and I've seen every reaction. I've seen all the ranges of reactions. And as soon as they started showing black people, it was, why are there black people in the future? As soon as they started showing black people, it was like, oh, did Frank Herbert mention black people in Dune? And it was all of this. So, like, I'm not making it into a question of race. You are. The people that are doing this are. And I'm not coming from this from a disingenuous place. I'm coming from this as someone that loves the book series. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like, like what is it that people on the right constantly say? Facts don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. I mean, it just, come on now. Oh, picks or your line. Well, you look, you like every comment that's ever been posted on my channel, just about, is still on my channel. So like you can go back to my Dune news playlist, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and read all the comments from the beginning, and you can see what people have been saying. And it's really frustrating to me as like a black science fiction nerd to see so much blatant racism coming out of these communities that support books that I love. Right. So to me, it's like doubly frustrating. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. And I'm not, and also like, I'm not even saying that that's most of the Dune. Like, of course, the vast majority of people that actually have read the Dune saga know what's up. Like anybody that I talk to that actually has read Dune knows what's up. Like Danica, Comic Book Girl 19, knows what's up. Like Secrets of Dune knows what's up. Like people that have actually read the Dune series know what's up. And they don't go around complaining about stupid stuff. And it's always very obvious to us, to those of us that have read the books and like the books, when someone is just trolling just to be a troll. But it also does not stop it from being annoying because they're coming into like our spaces where we're just here to discuss books that we love and discuss our favorite book series, and they're bringing toxicity into it where it doesn't belong. Like, we don't want your toxicity. If you don't want to see the movie, don't see the movie, and we will see the movie. This doesn't have to be your movie. Go back and watch David Lynch's Dune 500 times for all we care. But we want Denis Villeneuve's movie. We want the Dune sequel. We want this vision. Cool, you think it's going to flop. Cool, you think it's going to suck. Awesome. Why do you need to say it 500 times? Why can't you go away? Why can't you go watch something else? Why can't you go watch whatever you want to watch? Why can't you go watch, I don't know, Jack Reacher or whatever the next like thing is that I don't know. Jesus Christ, why do you need to go on every Dune video and talk about how it's going to be woke? It's just freaking annoying. Someone says the Fremen wouldn't be pale if they are human. Human, I don't know that word. Human integument, I don't know, melanates after being exposed to constant sunlight. Dune is a desert planet, thus one is exposed to constant sunlight. Yes. And also there's like the idea that the Fremen too are descended from the Zensuni Wanderers. And if you don't know the history of the Dune universe, like most of the people that run around screaming woke, the Zensuni Wanderers went around from planet to planet before they arrived on Arrakis. And they basically were oppressed on nearly every world. They picked up a bunch of different genes, and they just became a very like mixed group. So it makes sense that there's like kind of like a tan skin tone going on. So yeah, guys, I understand that this stream so far has been, I know it's made some of my sensitive people upset. I know, like some of my sensitive people do not like it when I talk about, facts about the Dune universe that don't stay in line with their like worldviews or whatever. But if you have been enjoying the chat, please consider clicking the like button just to co-act all of the haters that are hating on me for just talking about Frank Herbert's material. Like I like do like it's like funny, like do you want me to lie? Like do you want me to lie and say that the Dune saga isn't framed in femininity and act like it's not about the Bene Gesserit sisterhood and what they've done and act like it's not about the main characters? Like do you guys know what the last line of Dune is? Like do you guys that complain know what the last line of the book is? It's Jessica and it's Chani. And Jessica says something to the effect of, though we bear the name of concubine, history will call us wives. So Denis Villeneuve saying that the story is framed in femininity is absolutely right. History calls them wives, but like all that Jessica has done, all that Chani does for Paul, history will call us wives. It's about how women are viewed historically. Just think about it. So, like, if you look at history over and over and over and over again, the deeds of women are demagnified and the deeds of men are magnified. And it's the same, and that is what Frank Herbert is getting at here. History will call us wives. So, Denny, like to reiterate, this is all like from Denis Villeneuve gave an interview in an Italian article where he basically said that Chani would be the protagonist of the second Dune movie, and he was talking about how the story is framed in femininity about the Bene Gesserit, and a lot of people on the internet freaked out. I put up my video about it, not even thinking. Like sometimes I can just be like not thinking about something like, oh yeah, people will like be interested in hearing this cool fact about Dune and about the future of the Dune franchise, but then it's like, oh wait, I forgot that there's this giant portion of the internet of mostly men that just go around complaining about anything that has Black people or women in it, which is frustrating. So, does anybody have anything to add? I'm willing to take some more questions. Okay. Someone says, you keep allowing the source material to be changed, you're going to end up with Battlefield Earth. Yeah, I mean, I would consider that an issue if I saw any evidence that the source material was being changed in any drastic ways that really affect the themes of the book and really affect that disrespect the novel. Because, like, okay, there is a difference between changes that disrespect the source material and changes that are in line with the source material and just like flow perfectly with the source material. And I'll give you an example. Some of you know that I love A Song of Ice and Fire, and I watched the Game of Thrones show, and it had its ups and it had its downs. Oh my god! But in the books, in the third book, A Storm of Swords, you have the character Daenerys, and in the books, those books are written first person, so you're always in the character's mind. There is a scene where she needs to get an army, so she goes to this place called Astapor to get these soldiers. And in the book, you know what she's thinking the whole time. There's this guy who's an asshole, and he's like insulting her in High Valyrian, and he doesn't know that she speaks High Valyrian, but you reading the book, you know that she speaks High Valyrian the whole time. And essentially, she does this double cross where she's like, yeah, motherfucker, I actually knew all along. But like in the book, it's just a little bit less impactful, even though at the time in the book, she releases all three of her dragons. It's this big moment, but you knew all along that she could speak the language. But the same scene in the TV show, I felt, was superior to the book because of the way it was handled. Now, if they had adapted it exactly the same way, where like you know that she speaks High Valyrian the entire time, it would have had a fraction of the impact. But because of in the show, you don't know that she speaks High Valyrian. And then right at the last moment, she turns and she says in perfect High Valyrian, a dragon is not a slave. And she unleashes her dragon at that point. It's much more impactful to someone that doesn't know it's coming than already knowing. So, but that's just like, because that change is made because of the differences between the medium of film and the medium, of literature, of writing books. There are differences. There are necessary changes that have to be made so that the story flows just a little bit better. But changes that don't interrupt the story, changes that don't like go backwards on the source material. But now, like later on in Game of Thrones, where Daenerys like turns around and starts killing a bunch of kids for no reason, that's a change that absolutely takes a giant shit on the source material. So yeah, yeah. So respecting source material, disrespecting source material. That is the key when it comes to adaptations. Now I missed a few super chats. Thank you so much. Thanks for your super sticker. And someone says, "Do you think the movie will be kind to people who have not read the books?" From what I've seen of the movie, and like I said, I did get to see a preview of the movie. I saw about like 18 minutes of it, including a 10-minute preview of the beginning and another scene involving a doctor scene. And the movie was doing, like I said, I did a whole stream about it after I saw it, but the movie did a very good job of establishing the universe in like the first 10 minutes. They establish so much in the first 10 minutes that it's like incredible, which is why it's like Denis Villeneuve is a master of storytelling. That's why I said before, to let like this nonsense woke stuff keep you from watching such a great movie is ridiculous. But in the first 10 minutes, we understand the Fremen, we know about the Harkonnens, we know about House Atreides, we know about the Emperor, we know about the Bene Gesserit. So much is established, and the relationships between all these things in 10 minutes, and it's just done really really well. And so I think that people that are paying attention, the movie, it'll unfold itself. I mean, and it's also like a really smart movie, so it's not for like, I guess, brain dead people that want to turn their brain off totally. Iron Throne, what is up, buddy? I'm gonna make you a moderator. And I see your talk. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. Sorry, I hid you from the channel by accident. There you go. I meant to make you a moderator. I am so sorry, but now you are a moderator. I am so sorry, Iron Throne, but I unhid you, and now you're a moderator. You've been following me for forever, dude. How's it going? I saw you mention Sixen books. So he has the Three Body Problem series, and I'm very excited to talk about the Remembrance of Earth trilogy with you guys because it is the best modern science fiction series that I've read. It's so good. There's oh my god, I don't even want to say anything about it, but if you have not read the Three Body Problem series, oh my god, I thought the first book was incredible. The second book exploded my freaking brain. So yeah, if you haven't read that, get into it. Get into it. You will not regret it. That's another thing. The sad thing about Three Body though is that David and Dan from Game of Thrones are going to be directing it and producing it, and it's going to be terrible. Oh my god, I'm not even ready. It'll be fun to trash, but it'll also be sad to see an amazing series adapted by such incompetent guys like David and Dan from Game of Thrones. Like, oh my god. Someone says, "What is the Three Body Problem?" I don't think you want me to answer that. It's kind of a spoiler. Like, I had no idea what this book was about, what the series was about when I started reading it. And it's like, funny enough, once you realize what the Three Body Problem is, the books move so far beyond that the Three Body Problem itself becomes irrelevant in terms of the series as a whole. It just does some really cool stuff. The author is Cixin Liu. He is a Chinese author, and it was a little bit daunting because the books are translated from Chinese, but like they're really good. They're really good, and we'll talk more about those as later on once I get ready to review them and start like making some lore videos about them. Do you actually think we will get the 5 to 6 hour long ultimate cut for miniseries version on HBO Max? I don't think that cut exists, just based on things that Villeneuve has said about things. Like his version of this movie, I think he conceptualized it initially probably as about like 2 to 3 hours this first half and 2 to 3 hours the last half. That's honestly what I think, because I think Denis Villeneuve, well, we know that he went into this with the idea that he was going to make 2 movies. So I don't think he would want to make it so long just so he would have to cut so much stuff out and leave so much out. And honestly, it wouldn't really make sense. I think this first one as like a 6 hour thing, like the first half of it, 6 hours, I think it's too much. I think 12 hours on the first Dune book is just a little bit too much. Someone's asking, was it D&D's fault or George R.R. Martin? It was D&D's fault. Here's the thing with the Song of Ice and Fire. George R. Martin had plenty of source material. Like George R. Martin's The Song of Ice and Fire books are huge. The showrunners behind Game of Thrones, D&D, chose actively not to use his source material. Like they could have kept going for several more seasons. And anyone that's read those books knows that they could have kept going for several more seasons, but they chose not to, which is that's what's really annoying about that. And let's hope that's not something that happens with Dune. Someone says Dune is great, but Frank Herbert's characters are so wooden, no personality at all. Hopefully, the actors can bring something interesting to the roles. That's one of the critiques of Frank Herbert, actually, that I've seen a lot. And I understand because the characters are, I mean, that's more true in the first one, I would say, than as how they're portrayed as the story goes on. There's definitely a lot more humanity injected into the characters as Dune Messiah happens. You definitely see like a lot of Paul's falls. You definitely see him like kind of become, like I said in my video, demystified and more. You see more of who he is, and the same is true for Aaliyah and definitely Leto and Ganima. I felt like had a very interesting relationship and were very like emotional, heavy characters. And specifically, Leto the second was a very like it was all about his emotions and what he was feeling. And then definitely by the time you get to the last two novels, you have Heretics in Chapter House. And you have Odrade basically rediscovering love for the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. So someone says, for someone who knows basically nothing about Dune, how do you think the movie will do for them, the average movie viewer? I think it will be an exciting, interesting, weird, visually impressive movie that will keep them on the edges of their seats and will keep them guessing. Because let me tell you, when the movie opens up, I said this before, but like it looks nothing like anything I've ever seen before. It doesn't look like some like, oh, this is like some Star Wars type thing. No, it looks like something totally new. Like the monolithic design of like the ships, everything is so huge, everything is so grand and epic. It feels like you've been teleported 20,000 years in the future. It's so foreign, so alien. Yeah. Are the dunes, someone says, are the dune worms symbolic? Are the dune worms symbolic? Yes. Symbols for so many things. I actually discussed this in a video of mine, one of my video essays that I did once about, Shai Hulud, the worm, and Shaitan, the worm. So in the beginning of the Dune saga, the worm represents the desert and nature and the cycles of the planet. And it also represents God. By the end of the Dune saga, the worm represents destruction and death. The worm represents Satan, the devil. He goes from Shai Hulud, literally meaning God, to Shaitan, literally meaning Satan. So it definitely goes through a journey thematically, but one definite thread that I see is that it's about how religions and interpretations of things shift and bend over time, and how to the people of the modern age, the gods of the past are the devils. The gods of today become the devils of tomorrow. And I just think that, yeah, that's an interesting layer to it that I like to think about sometimes. Someone says the story belongs to Paul. This is just the latest example. The story belongs to Paul. How about no? How about you don't know what you're talking about? How about Paul is actually not the good guy? How about Frank Herbert literally said, I wrote the Dune Saga so that to show you that charismatic leaders aren't good. Like, I mean, that's Frank Herbert. That's Frank Herbert saying that. Frank Herbert wrote the Dune Saga to show you why people like Paul shouldn't be fucking trusted. Like, so like to say the Dune Saga is Paul's story is so annoying because it's not, and it's so it exposes so much that you haven't read the saga. It exposes that so much because one thing that Denis Villeneuve is doing that I think is throwing a lot of people off that maybe haven't read the books or maybe have only read the first book is Denis Villeneuve is looking at this whole thing in the context of the entire saga because he's read the entire thing. So he's looking at the whole thing in the context of the whole story. So he's setting certain things up in this first movie so that once they get to the other ones, they'll have a backbone to stand on. They'll have that foundation already set up. And he's doing that because he's smart and he loves the story. Period. Hi, Quinn. Thanks for being a positive force. Oh, wait, wrong super chat. Thanks for being a positive force in the Dune fan base. Your videos are fantastic and informative. Cheers. Well, thank you guys for sticking with me. And someone said, love your Hyperion videos. Do you think Hollywood could ever adapt them? I'm kind of glad the series is almost unfilmable. Glad I found your channel. I think that Hyperion could work as like a high budget series, like on HBO or something. Do you think they will even try adapting God Emperor of Dune? Maybe I could see it working as like a 3-part miniseries. God Emperor of Dune, that'd be interesting. Who knows what's possible, because we don't know how long they're going to continue to go with this whole Dune the Sisterhood thing. So Dune the Sisterhood is the TV show that's being planned, and we don't know much about it other than it's called Dune the Sisterhood. We don't know if it's going to be about Brian Herbert's prequel, which, God, if it's about Brian Herbert's prequel, then God save us. Because I really don't want to watch a whole series based off of like Brian Herbert's book, where like the Bene Gesserit like have like almost none of their powers and they're just like struggling to like build up. It's like God. And then he's like introduced, it's like all the psychic stuff. It's like, oh, they're honing their psychic ability. Like the Brian Herbert, some of those Brian Herbert like plot lines are just like so just like dragging, like taking place in between other stuff, so it doesn't really move into any real place. It's just so annoying. But if it's the future Bene Gesserit and it's like, you know, what they're doing at the same time as there's other machinations in the Empire, that'd be cool. You know what's an interesting thought that I didn't even like really think about? You know what would be cool? The Bene Gesserit show could take place honestly like at the same time as God Emperor of Dune. You know, that'd be weird, right? Because we don't really know a lot about what the Sisterhood was doing at the time that the God Emperor was doing his thing. Like we get a few excerpts from them in God Emperor of Dune, but like that'd be cool just like as a backdrop. So you have the Sisterhood and their machinations in the Empire, and then as a backdrop, also the Empire is ruled by the tyrannical Leto II. That'd be so freaking cool. But I don't know if they could do the whole series like that. It could be like it just remains to be seen. It just remains to be seen. I have no idea. Like the Sisterhood show is something that I'm a little bit worried about, just because of some of the people that have been involved with it. And I'll just leave it at that. There've been a lot of names that I've seen attached to it where I'm just like, I don't know about you in particular being involved with something like this. I don't know what you're going to try and inject into this, because like while I'm not worried about Denis Villeneuve trying to inject random stuff into the Dune series that doesn't belong there, I definitely am worried about other people that don't respect the material as much trying to do that. I mean, anytime there's an opportunity for some like no name in Hollywood to make a name for themselves by doing something, by ruining a franchise, they seem to do it. That's super annoying. Robin Riddle. Hello. You are a moderator. You are a moderator now. I wonder what Lynch will think about this movie. Well, it's funny because not only had Lynch already like hated on his movie before this one even got announced and stuff, he was like disowning it and stuff. Like he came out like sometime after the last trailer and he was just like, I reject my old movie. I totally disown it. So I think he already feels like slightly embarrassed by the fact that this is getting made, and that it looks so good. And then we also have like on the same corner, like Joe Dorowski also being like pissy about it, which is like, dude, you never even filmed anything. I love the Meta Barons. Like the Inkle is really good, but like you don't own Dune, Jodorowsky. Like this isn't. They don't need to consult you about Dune. Like the story that you were gonna tell wasn't even Dune. It was like a DMT trip or something. So God Emperor. Someone says God Emperor honestly doesn't need to be adapted. I feel like some books are fine just as they are. Same with the later 2 books. Too many characters to adapt. You know, people said the same thing about Game of Thrones as far as too many characters to adapt. And then honestly, maybe they were right because we saw how that ended up. But I can see that. Like I mean, yeah, the God Emperor, I think out of all of them will be the hardest to do, because it really just like is this worm person just thinking in his head about a bunch of philosophical stuff, and like talking to his like guy Moneo about a bunch of philosophical stuff, which is interesting to read if you like that sort of thing, and it's just definitely intriguing. But could it work as a movie or a TV show? That remains to be seen. But with someone that really loved it and someone that really could do it, maybe, maybe consult Quinn's ideas a little bit. I'm just kidding. I'm just a YouTuber. It's funny how many times does like Warner Brothers have to tell me that like they're not fucking with me before I get the answer, right? Honestly, when it comes to like things like the copyright claims and shit, it's such an interesting dilemma, because obviously the way it works is like YouTube does a check initially and they determine that the video didn't have any copyright. And then I guess Warner Brothers has a team of people that go around flagging things that are potentially stealing content. So they flagged me. But then once I appealed it and I went to the company, actually what happens was it's confusing to me, because like I dispute it and then they reject the dispute. They reject the dispute. And then I appealed that. And then it looked like someone at the company actually looked at it carefully and they realized, oh, yeah, let's not do this. Because I've had people in the circles at Warner Brothers contact me. I've had people that have been involved with the film send me like little messages and tell me things and give me like little bits of information. And I won't talk too much about that because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I have had that before. So it's like, it seems like it's like the right hand is doing one thing and the left hand is doing something else. There's like not really a lot of coordination going on. So that's why the Warner Brothers as a company, I'm very, very nervous about them. And yeah, Gabriel, the YouTube copyright system is just simply like broken. It's simply broken. Quinn is a Dune secret agent. Confirmed. I am. Secret agent man. Secret agent man. That's me. Yeah, I agree. I don't how is a company so big and this sloppy and annoying and stupid? Like, how many franchises do they have to ruin? It's honestly aggravating. It's honestly really aggravating. Plans within plans. Oh, well, we've been streaming for about an hour, guys. So yeah, I needed to come on here and rant. Check out my new video on the whole Dune Zendaya thing, and Zendaya being the main character of Dune 2. And thank you guys so much for sitting here and having a chat with me, discussing the future of the Dune franchise. Let's just hope that everything goes well. I'm still so excited. Still so excited to see this new Dune movie. I'm still excited to see Sisterhood of Dune. I'm going to watch it and we'll be reviewing a lot of things. I got Foundation coming out next month. I am so excited to watch Foundation and review it. Apparently the first 3 episodes of Foundation are being released on the same day, so I'll be able to like watch all 3 and then come back here and review it. And then like the next month I'll be able to watch Dune and review it. It's going to be awesome. Lots of awesome things coming up. See you guys later. Peace out. I love you guys. Make sure you like this video if you've enjoyed the chat. Also, please, 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 if you're still watching, please hit the like button. It just helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm. YouTube is like such a crazy, weird system. It totally forgets my videos sometimes. So if you appreciate my content and you appreciate these chats, please, please, please hit the thumbs up before you go. And I love you guys. Peace out. Secret agent man.